Hello and welcome to this video. This is the first video in the data structure series, and let me briefly introduce you about what this series is all about. In this series, I'll be implementing various data structures and their use cases. I will be using Java throughout the series, but let me tell you that data structures is not about the language but about the concept. So try to understand the concept and feel free to use any language. In this video, we will be implementing the most basic data structure, that is the array data structure. Now, array can be of two types. It can be static or dynamic in nature. Static arrays are those whose capacity is fixed, and dynamic arrays are those where the capacity is variable. We will be trying to implement a dynamic array using static arrays. So I have already created a dynamic array class, and that is our main class. So in the same package, I'll be creating another class with the name array. I'll be using a generic data type of t. Usually what people do is they use integer or strings, but I want to keep it generic, so I'm using t as the data type. So in this way we can store strings, integers, and even complex objects inside this array. Now arrays are iterables, so we will implement an iterable interface. Now, as I told you, I'll be using static array for the implementation of dynamic array. So let's give a private data member of this class as an array of type t. I also have to specify a length. This length is actually the length or the number of elements which is present in the array at a point of time. So I am just giving a comment here. So this is actually the array length which the user thinks it is, but actually the capacity is dynamic. So we will be giving a capacity variable. This is actually the capacity of dynamic array. Now let's make the constructor. Now for the static array, we have to provide a capacity. So by default, I'll be providing a capacity of 16. So let's make another constructor which takes capacity as an input, and if the capacity is less than 0, we will throw an illegal argument exception. If it's not 0, then this dot capacity equals to capacity, and we will allocate this much capacity to the static array. So for that, ARR equals to new object this dot capacity. Now it's giving an error because I have declared, I have instantiated an object actually. So I have to typecast to the actual data type. Now for the no argument constructor, I'll simply call the other constructor with a default value that is 16. Now you can see this line is giving an error. So we actually have to implement or actually have to override the iterator method, which is from the iterable interface. So we'll be, let's implement this and let's take the iterator method and press OK. So we have the iterator method now. We will be implementing the iterator later, but for now let's give a size method which will return the size of the array at any point of time. And let's give another method which will return a boolean whether the array is empty or not. So if the length is 0, it will return true. If the length is not 0, it will return false. Now after this, we will also implement a toString method. So what toString method will do is, it will just give us string representation of the whole array. So let's take an empty string and I'll be using a for loop to iterate and append string with the actual array content and a space, and now I will return this string. Let's implement the iterator as well. So iterator actually returns an iterator. So I will return an iterator object. Inside this, I will take an index, start it with 0, and for the hasNext method, if the index is less than the length, then there is a next element, and this will actually return that element. Now let's give a method to add an element to this array. Now before adding, I have to check if resizing of array is needed or not. So first I'll be giving an if condition, and if length plus 1 is greater than or equals to the capacity, we will simply double the capacity, and we will copy the elements of the array to a new array. So I'll take a new array, and again using for loop, I will simply copy the contents of the existing array to the new array. And I'll say ARR equals to new ARR. Now if resizing is not required, I'll simply say ARR and length plus plus equals to element. Now add method is done. Now let's add element and check if it's working or not. So first I have to initialize the array. Let's put an integer data type. Now I'll say arr.add and I'll add any integer. Again I'll say arr.add and I'll add one more integer, and let's print, say arr.toString. Now let's right click and run. Alright, so 56 and 45 is added to the array. So it's working. Add method is working. So after the add method, for getting a single element at an index, let's define a method for that. Public t get, and it will take index as a parameter. Now if index is less than 0 or index is greater than or equal to length, we will simply throw a null pointer exception, and if everything is okay, we will return the index. Now get method is done. After this, we also need a method to set element at an index. So for that, it will be actually a void method. It will take two parameters, an index and an element. So again, if index is less than 0 or index is greater than or equals to length, it will throw index out of bound exception, or else it will simply set the element at index as the new element. Now we also need a method to remove an element from an index. So let's declare that public void remove, and it will take an index. Now again, if index is less than 0 or index is greater than or equals to length, I will throw an index out of bound exception, or else from index I will start a for loop up to the length of the array, and I'll be removing one element that is at the index, and I'll copy all the subsequent elements and I'll push every element back by one index. So I'll say arr I minus 1 as arr I, and since I have removed an element, I obviously have to decrease the length. Now I have removed an element. Now I need a method to return the index of a particular element. So let's declare that. It will return an integer, and let's say index of an element. Now I have to search the element in the array. I'll say if arri dot equals element, I'll simply return the index. If the element is not found, I'll return -1. Let's check if all these methods are working or not. So we saw that add method is actually working. So now let's get an element. So I'll say system.out.println and arr.get, and let's get an element at the 0 position. Let's run. So we got the element at 0 position as 56. So that means this is fine. Let's remove an element. Sorry. Let's remove the index 0 and run again. So we removed the index 0 and now only 45 is left. Now let's add more elements. Now let's check the index of element 57. So system.out.println and arr.index of. So index of element, I need an integer element, so I'll say new integer, and let's check 57. Let's run. So the index of element 57 is 2. So you can check it's 0, 1 and 2. Now if you want to implement the iterator, you have to take iterator, and since it's an integer, so integer iterator. Let's take the variable name as it, and it would be arr.iterator. Now while it.hasNext, if there is a next element, hasNext will return true. I'll simply print out the element. So let's say it.next. Okay, now let's run and check. So this is actually the output from the iterator. So let me tell you that if you use a for loop for iteration, it will actually be a bit faster than using an iterator, but it's actually a convention to use iterator for array iteration, so that's why I'm using iterator. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.